In this tutorial, I will show you how you can use weatherwidget.io to quickly create a weather widget for your website. The widgets are totally free, they are very customizable, and they are available in several different languages. They are also fully responsive. This means that the widget will expand to fill its container, so it can fit nicely in a sidebar of any size, and then it can automatically expand to fit in the main content area. It will also look great on the smaller screens of phones and tablets. In this tutorial, I will first create and embed a widget in an example website, and then we will do the same for a WordPress site. In the end, we will go over every field in the interface, and I will offer to you some useful tips. This is the first example website we're going to work with, and what I want to do is to add a weather widget here in the sidebar under the menu. So let's get to our code editor. Let's open the page that we'd like our widget to go to, and then let's scroll down to find the correct place to embed our widget. So here is the sidebar, here is the menu, here is where the menu ends. So here is where we would like to place our widget. So now let's get to the weatherwidget.io website, and let's say we would like to add the weather widget for Sydney. So in the select location input box, let's type Sydney. Let's select it from the drop down. As you can see, the weather details of Sydney are now loaded in the widget. Then we click the Get Code button. We copy the code, and then we return to our code editor and paste it to our chosen location. We save, then we return to our website, we refresh, and as you can see, the widget has been successfully embedded in our website. If we wanted, we could stop here, but we will continue because we want to make this weather widget better match the look and feel of our website. So let's get back to the weatherwidget.io website, and let's change a few options. Let's change the forecast days from 7 to 5, and let's choose a different theme. Let's use this pure one. It will probably fit our design better. Now let's click the Get Code button again to get the updated code. Click here to copy the code, and then let's get back to our editor. Copy the new code over the old one, save the changes. Now let's get back to our website, refresh it, and now we have a widget that fits much better with this website. But let's not stop here. Let's make it blend even better with our website. So what I'm going to do next is, as we have this heading down here, I'm gonna add the same here above our weather widget. So let's get back to our code, and you can see here that heading, and as you can see, it is inside this section. So I will just copy this section, paste it here. Now let's cut our widget, and then let's replace everything in this section, apart from the header, with the code with our widget. Now let's save. Let's get back to our browser, let's refresh, and here is the result. Obviously I want to change this heading. I want it to say Sydney weather. So let's get back to our code editor and change that heading to say Sydney weather. So we get back to our browser, refresh, and now we can see it says Sydney weather. But I don't want to say Sydney weather here. So let's go back to weatherwidget.io. Let's go to settings, and let's delete the labels from the widget itself. Let's get the code again, copy, back to our code, replace the old code with a new one, save. Now let's get back to our website, refresh, and here we have the widget without the label. At this point it looks pretty good, and again we could stop here, but let's also do a fully customized solution. So let's get back to weatherwidget.io. I will choose from the themes the blank theme, which has no colors set, so basically we can start from scratch. I will temporarily choose a white background. And now, using the developer tools of our browser, let's pick a few colors from our website. So let's select this heading here. Let's choose this orange color from here. And we will use it as the color for the sun and as the color for the high temperature. Next, let's copy this dark gray color, which is used for the headings. And we will use that as the color for our text. The text color is the fallback color for all other text and icon colors. So now all text and icons, apart from the sun and high temperature colors, which we have said earlier, are now using this dark gray color. So another thing I'd like to do is to add a blue color for the low temperature and the rain color. Now let's remove that white background we temporarily added before, so the background of our website will be visible under our widget. Next, let's click the Get Code button, copy the new code, get back to our editor, paste the new code over the old one, save the changes, return to our website, refresh it, and now we have the final result, which, as you can see, matches perfectly with our website. A few days have passed, and now let's say we would like to make a modification to our widget. Let's say we would like to use a different font. The easiest way to do this change is to first go back to weatherwidget.io and to click on the Load Code button. Now, as per the instructions of this window, what we need to do is to paste here the code we previously created. So now we return to our code editor. We open the file where we had previously created the widget. We scroll down to find it. Here it is. So we highlight it, we copy it, and then we return to weatherwidget.io. We paste the code and click the button to load it. Now, as you can see, all our previous settings have been loaded, so we can now proceed with the change. First, we click on the Options tab, we select a different font, and then we click the Get Code button, we copy the new code, and we paste it over the old one. We save, we return to our website, reload the browser, and now our widget has the new font. Next, we will add a weather widget to this WordPress example website. What I want to do is to add it at the top of the sidebar, here, and the plan is to make it look like the other widgets in the sidebar. So now let's go to weatherwidget.io. Let's type our location here. In this case it will be London. I don't want a label inside the widget, so I will remove the labels from here. In the options I will now change to a 3-day forecast. I will select the blank theme because I want to customize everything from scratch. I will customize it. I will use a white background. Now I'll get back to our website to pick some colors. First I will pick this red, and I will use it as the color for the high temperature and the color for the sun. Next let's pick this green color from here, and I will use that as the cloud color. And last I will pick this dark gray brown color from the heading, and I will use that for the text color, which is also the fallback color for all other text and icons. Now let's get the code, copy it. Then we will go to our WordPress dashboard. Under Appearance, I will select Widgets. And what we want to use is this custom HTML widget. So we grab it from here and drop it at the top of our sidebar. As content, we paste the code we copied earlier from weatherwidget.io, and as a title I will type London weather, and I will save. Now we return to the front end of our website, and here we can see the final result. In this part of the tutorial, we will go over every field available in the interface which you can use to create a widget that perfectly matches your website. The first thing I want to show you is that you can drag the border on the right of the widget, here, to preview the widget in different sizes. Note that this doesn't set the size of the widget to any specific width because the widget is responsive and it will always resize itself to match the width of its container. So if you do want to set the widget to a specific width, like for example 800 pixels, then you have to place the widget in a container, like a div, that has its width set to 800 pixels. So let's now move to the first field in our settings, which is the select location field. Here we can enter the name of any location, like a city or the name of a village. So if for example we enter London here, we get the weather for London. Or we can enter Paris and we get the weather for Paris. Or we can enter, let's say, Montreal, and we get the weather for Montreal. Next we have the two label fields here, and in these fields you can enter anything you want in any language you want. So for example we could type my hotel weather, or my hotel whatever. Okay, so you can type anything you want here. Or, since these fields are optional, you can just use one of them or none of them. They are totally optional, and if you don't want them, you can remove them. So let's type it back now. Montreal weather. And let's move to the next field, which is the language field here. As you can see, there are several different languages from which you can choose, from Arabic to Bulgarian to French or Ukrainian or Chinese. Okay, so now let's put it back to English. The last field in the settings section is the units field. And here you can choose between international units or units used in the USA. The most obvious difference here is the unit for the temperature. So for international units it is in Celsius, while for the USA units the temperature is in Fahrenheit. But another difference is between centimeters and inches. So if we hover over an icon here, we see that the snow amount is indicated in inches. But if we change the units to international, we can now see that the snow is indicated in centimeters. So now let's move to the options section. The first field here is the fonts field. Here you can select among many different fonts. Some of the fonts are actually font stacks with what's called web-safe fonts, which are found in most operating systems, while the rest are from Google Fonts. One thing to note is that the available fonts in this field will depend on the language selected earlier. So if, let's say, you had selected Arabic or Chinese or Japanese, you will see a different set of fonts here. Next, we move to the icon set field. And as you can see, we have 3 different icon sets here, with the last option here being an animated icon set. Let's go back to the default for now. In this next field, we can select if we want to show only the current weather, or if we would like to show a weather forecast for today and the next few days, or if we prefer to show both the current weather and the forecast. As a last field in this section, we have the forecast days, and this of course is relevant only if we are showing a forecast. If we had earlier selected to show only the current weather, this field would not be relevant. And here you have the option to choose between 7, 5 and 3 days of forecast. Let's select here 5 for now. Next, let's move to the themes section. Here we have 5 different types of themes: flat themes, gradient themes, themes with a pattern, themes with an image, and a theme based on the current weather conditions. For the flat themes, only basic flat colors are used. The gradient themes are using a gradient-based background, as you can see here. The pattern themes have as a background a small repeating image, while the image themes use a larger single image for the whole widget. And the weather conditions theme is a special kind of theme which sets the background and the colors based on the current weather conditions for the selected location. So in Montreal now the weather is clear and it is night, so the theme used here is a clear night sky theme. The last section is the customize section. But as you can see, we cannot customize this special weather conditions theme, and this is because this theme is actually many different themes, one for each kind of weather condition. We can, however, customize every other theme. So let's choose a flat theme. Let's choose this pure one. And let's customize it. In the customize section, we can customize the colors for the various elements of our widget, such as the background, the text, and the icons. So let's start with the background. As you can see, we have a white background here, but we can change it to any color we want. So we can change it to red, for example. Or we can try this light teal color. We can also use this second column of the color picker to lower the opacity. In the case of the background color, lowering the opacity will have the effect of your own website's background to be visible under the widget. For our example here, let's put the opacity back to 100%. The next field is the accent color, which basically defines a background under the odd numbered day columns. So that would be the first, third, fifth, and seventh day columns. In this case, as you can see, we're using a low opacity black color, and this has the effect of slightly darkening the background color. But we could also use a color with its full opacity, for example a blue color, like this. But usually a better approach for this field is to use a low opacity black, white or gray color, which makes this accent to easily blend with the background. Next we have the text field, which sets the color for the labels, the current temperature and description, and the day names. So if we change this field to, let's say, a dark blue color, as you can see now the labels, the current temp and description and the day names are now using this color. An important thing to note is that the text color is also the default color for all text and icon elements of the widget. So if any of those colors are not set, then they will also use the text color, which in this case is this dark blue. So if, for example, I remove the color for the high temperature, as you can see, the high temperature is now displayed with the dark blue color we defined in the text field. But for this example, I will give the high temp its own color, dark red. Let's also change the low temperature to use a gray color. The shadow field places a shadow behind all text and icons. This is really useful in cases of busy image backgrounds because it helps the text and icons to pop and become more visible. And we can use the opacity to define how strong we want this effect to be. In cases of flat color themes such as this one, we usually don't need a shadow at all, so I will remove it. The sun color is used wherever a sun appears in the icons. So let's change the color to some dark red color for the sun. The moon color, again, it is used wherever there is a moon in an icon. Same deal with the cloud color, changes the color of the clouds as they appear in the icons. The cloud fill color is only relevant if we are using the animated icon set. Otherwise, as you can see, it has no effect. But if we now change to the animated icon set, you can now see the cloud fill color shown in the widget. This red doesn't really match, so let's use white for this field. So this next one is the color for the rain. Let's use purple for the rain. And you can see the purple rain here. And the last field is the color for the snow. And again, we can use whatever color we want for that as well. Once we are done creating the widget as we want it, we can click on the Get Code button. We can copy the supplied snippet, and then we can paste it at any place in any website where we would like the widget to appear. Now, if let's say some days or months have passed and you want to make some change to your widget, then you can load all your customizations by clicking on the Load Code button and pasting here the weather widget code you are using in your website. You can then make the changes you want and get the updated code to use in your website. One last thing to note is that there is one important difference in how to customize the gradient, pattern, and image themes. Gradient themes use a gradient background which sits behind the background that you set in the Customize section. Something similar is true for the image-based themes, which use an image as a background. So if we were to use this clear theme, as you can see, the background is set to white with slightly lowered opacity, which allows the gradient background to be seen. We can then change the white to some different color, keeping the slightly lowered opacity, to get a gradient using this different color. The lower we set the opacity, the stronger the gradient effect becomes. And if we were to totally remove our own background, then we will just see the gradient background which sits behind. If you want no background at all, then you have to start with a flat theme. In this case, we will use white with a slightly lowered opacity, and we can adjust the opacity setting to get the exact effect we want. Something similar is true for image-based themes. So in this case, as you can see, we use no background color at all. So the image background is fully visible. And if we were to use a background color with 100% opacity, then the image would be hidden. So no point in doing that. But what we can do is use a background color with a lowered opacity, which has the effect of giving our image a different tint. And again, if we remove the background color, the background image is shown without anything added to it. WeatherWidget.io is a new project and new features will come out in the next months. You can follow us on Facebook or Twitter. You can check some example projects on our CodePen account. And if you have any questions, you can contact us directly by using the contact form in our website.